Hello and welcome to the short demonstrational video on the 2019 Mercedes Vito van conversion. We'll deal with the raising roof that this model has first. So this has got the canvas roof which raises up from the inside. It's got tie down straps which are located at the front here. So these straps need to be released. They've just got grippers on them like that, so you just press that button in there and that releases the straps that hold the roof down. So I'll do that now and you can see it with the roof up. So I've released those straps there now, and as you can see they can be left in place, and then it's just simply a matter of pulling this tight when the roof is drawn back down. To draw it back down, you just pull on these cords here, both sides, and it's a bit like a boot lid where it's got the gas struts, so you just pull that down and then re-secure it with the straps here. As you can see, the window on the front here has got a cover that just zips in at the side, and that's the same on this side and that side also. So the canvas, it is weatherproof, but in really bad weather conditions, particularly in wind, then you want to be drawing this back down because it won't sort of withstand gale force winds. So as you can see, that's the roof there extended upwards, and then they're the gas struts that you're pulling against to lower the roof down. So we're back inside the motorhome here now, and I'll just show you the canvas at the other end. So that strap there is to draw them in and keep the canvas taut. These boards here, you can see how that one sits in like that, and then this board can be drawn further this way to create a bed there, but it is really only for small children. Adults, I don't think that's quite strong enough for two adults up there. When you're drawing this canvas back down, the roof back down, it is worth just pulling the canvas towards you, because otherwise it'll get trapped in this area here. So all the canvas must be on the inside so that the roof sits on like a lid. So that's the elevating roof dealt with. I'll just run around the outside and show you some of the features on the outside. This model has a sink in there, so everything that goes down the kitchen sink, there's a waste pipe that comes out, and it's just literally under here. So anything that goes down the kitchen sink, you can see the wet patch there, and it's just dripping from that area there. So if you want a catchment can for underneath that, if you're on sites, then that's where it will be placed. But it is only grey water, so it's only dirty water that's coming out of the kitchen sink. To plug it into mains, so it has a mains charger and a leisure battery, this model, and this is where the mains cable goes into, and the mains cable that it comes with is just here. So to put that in, you lift up the lid like that, and then this plugs into this socket here, and the lid that I lifted up slides into that section there, and then to release it you press that button down, and that will allow you to draw the cable out. So that'll give you mains into the motorhome, and it'll also charge the leisure battery. Working our way around to the back then, we have the gas locker here. So you will need a 3.5 kilogram bottle in there, or even a smaller one like a camping gas one. Now that's where the gas supply goes into. You'll need a regulator, and the end of the metal that comes off the sort of metal section of the regulator that regulates the pressure goes into the end of there, and just tighten down with that Jubilee clip onto the end of the regulator. So in the back here, this is the back section of the rack and roll bed. You can sit on that if you're sort of sitting out in the van. It will work as a bench seat, and then there's just storage underneath where I've got the cable from, the mains cable, and again just a little bit more storage either side. Okay, so to darken off the back windows, obviously we've just got curtains here, they just draw across. Same on that side. The door handle to release from the inside is just there. There's a strap here which will become clear when you draw the bed down to make the lower bed, this is just handy to pull it back up into position to get you back in this situation here. So that's just pulled to draw the bed back from the sleeping position. So into the motorhome then. This is a porta potty here with a cover over it, which can act as a poof for your seating, which is just there. So to use this, lift the lid. This here opens and closes the blade. Sorry, scrap that last bit. The flush, when you want to flush the loo, the flush chemical and the water to use the flush goes into there. So pink chemical into there if you want to use the flush chemical. So that's how you fill it, and you just fill that until it's full basically. And then to flush the toilet, you pump this mechanism here, and that gives you your flush. So the way to use the toilet is obviously open the lid, open up the blade, which this is here, and then so you pull that bit like that, and it opens the blade up, which is there, down into the cassette. So all the toilet waste ends up down into the cassette at the bottom. When you're traveling, obviously keep this closed. So you open that up, use the toilet, use the flush, close it back up. To empty this, there's a catch on the back here. So if you slide that across, and you can see the two sections then come apart. Okay, so with the two sections apart, you're left with the lid with the flush chemical in it, and then the lower section, which is the waste section. And to empty that, you slide this nozzle over like so, and then literally pour the waste away through that nozzle there. As you're doing so, press this button in here. It lets the air in as the waste is coming out of that end, and it stops it glugging and splashing. The chemical that goes into this one breaks all the solids down. It breaks and it stops all the smells, and that's the blue chemical, or if you want to use biodegradable chemical, that's the green chemical. So to fill that, you just again slide the blade back when the lid's on, and pour the blue chemical into here with a little bit of water lining the bottom. So when you've emptied the waste cassette, it's probably wise to fill it back up again with fresh water, swill it about, and then completely rinse it through and get rid of the water that you've used to rinse it, and then put the blue chemical in with a little bit of water in the bottom, and then it's ready to use again. So that's the nice neat cover back on the porta potty. So we come to the fridge then. To open the fridge, there's that catch there. So a nice little neat fridge. Okay, so the control panel for the fridge is just here. To switch the fridge on and off, it is, let me just line up here. So we've got the on and off button here. It's a compressor fridge. It only works off 12 volts, so it's not a three-way fridge that you might hear referred to. So switch the fridge on and off via this button here, by a prolonged press, and then you can alter the fridge temperature with this button here. So it's just a press on there. The lower indicator there is the fridge working harder. So in really cold weather, you don't want the fridge to work over hard because it'll freeze up, so keep it on the lower setting. In really warm weather, then you want the fridge to work a bit harder and keep it on the higher setting. Okay, so we have a sink, two gas burners. So you're just switching the gas burners on via these knobs here, and you've got an igniter. To get water from the kitchen sink that we have here, the water container is just housed there. So that's taken out, filled up, and then the pump sits inside the container. So you take the lid off, sit the pump inside the container, and there's another little lid for that for transporting, which is just in there. So the water pump is switched on via the control panel on that button there. So you need that switched on, and then the pump will run when you open up the tap, giving you water out your tap. So this is your main control panel here. Okay, so it will allow you to select your leisure battery, you can see there, or your vehicle battery. Use your leisure battery. If you flatten your vehicle battery, obviously you've got problems. But it will allow you to use your vehicle battery if you've flattened your leisure battery and you just need your lights on, for example. So your light switch is just there. Again, water pump, that needs to be switched on to get water through your kitchen sink. Battery charger switches on and off there. This here will alert you to reverse polarity. So on some sites, it's really only a problem abroad, but some sites the positive is on the negative side when you plug in from the outside. So that will just tell you that your positive terminals are the wrong way around, essentially. But it doesn't alter the way that the charger works or anything. It's just alerting to you the fact that positive is on the negative side. It's got a circuit breaker here, so that's like your domestic circuit breaker at home. So that will, it's basically a fuse, so that's for the 240 volt circuit. You can test that all those are working by pressing this test button here. We're not plugged in at the moment, so it won't work, but when you press that test button when you're plugged in, this will flip down to show you that the fuses are operational and you've got mains coming into your motorhome. There's a small bank of 12 volt fuses just there, and they're labelled. So if your lights go out, that's your first port of call to alert you to any faults in the 12 volt system. Light switches, main socket, and a USB just underneath the control panel there. In there we have a power inverter, so it actually changes the 12 volt battery current into mains. Now it's only 1000 watt. That will only really, you won't want to run a hairdryer or anything such as that through it, but it will give you a short supply of 240 volts. This here isolates your battery, so you can, if you turn that, all the battery and 12 volt circuitry will go off. It's just a battery isolation switch, and there's a spare key for that just there. The table is this fold away table here, and it will clip onto this rail that runs across here. So it's got clips on there like that, and to clip it on, you just pull that lever back, clip it onto the rail, so that hook goes over the rail, and then push that back on and it secures the table in position on that rail. Okay, so in the drawer underneath the rack and roll bed are these silver screens. They go over the side windows, so you can see that's the side window shape. So that blackens out the windscreen and the side windows. So you've got curtains on all the other windows in the motorhome section, but then to blacken off your windscreen and your side windows, just use these. So the silver goes on the window side and it's secured by these suckers. So the seating then, to draw the bed down to make your bed, there's a catch just here, so undo that catch, you can see the bed comes towards you. So if you just pull this bed via the frame, which is just underneath here, and you can see that then ends up as a flat bed. And to get it to go completely flat, you just push down on the headrest there, so that ends up being your bed. Good sized bed that, and then that's the strap that I was referring to get the bed to go back up into the seating position, because it can be difficult trying to push this end. It's easier to do it from the back doors and pull on that on that cord there. It's actually easier if someone pushes from this end and someone pulls from that end. It goes up really smoothly. So that's the bed back up, the table in position, just to show you how the table sits. So this model has been fitted with swivel seats, so you can swivel the called captain seats around, so that these will end up pointing this way, so it makes a nice lounge effect. To do that, you pull this lever here, and that will allow you to swivel the seat around. That will allow you to swivel the seat around like so, so you've got a nice open lounge effect. Same on the driver's side. So that concludes the demonstrational video. If you've got any questions, I'm happy to answer those on the day that you collect, and we look forward to seeing you when you collect your new motorhome.